my zone, baby. I'm trying to write a little something to this beat right here. Anyways, what up, Eagles gang? It's your boy, We Bleed Green, aka Bug, coming at y'all on my YouTube channel with the game plan to beat the Washington Redskins. We got a good taste of action from NFL last night. It was a great game. Patriots, Chiefs, you know what I'm saying? But nothing like when the Eagles play for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So we got Sunday coming up. We heading out to FedEx Field, Redskins territory. Gotta get this W, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a tough Chiefs team coming up next week. And we seen how they played the defending champions last night. So I'm here to hit y'all with my game plan as usual on how I think we could beat the Redskins. Now, as y'all know, this team had our number the past 3 seasons. I think the last 5, they done beat us, 5 straight times. They done swept us last year, swept us the year before last. Kirk Cousins started against us. His first start, they beat us. They won 4 straight times against us. But Kirk Cousins' first start back 3 seasons ago, we won that game. But anyways, past 5 meetings, they 4-1 against us. So they pretty much have our number. So we got a tough division game to start the season out coming up this Sunday. So basically, man, I got 3 things right away that we need to do to win this game. First of all, number 1, protect this man right here. You got to protect number 11. You know what I'm saying? That's first and foremost. Number 2, win the battle at the line of scrimmage. That goes for the offensive line. We got to win against their defensive line. And that goes for the defensive line when we out there. We got to win against their offensive line, which leads me to number 3. We got to win the battle against Kirk Cousins. We can't let Kirk Cousins pick us apart in the pocket. If our defensive line is getting to him, they need to get hands on him and bring him down. You can't afford to miss tackles. You can't afford to over pursue going up against him. And if you get hands on Kirk Cousins, man, you gotta bring him down, because I'm gonna get into it in a minute, but it's a million reasons why you just have to make sure you finish those plays when you get hands on Kirk Cousins. But anyway, I'm gonna just run off his stats for us real quick. For Kirk Cousins' career against the Eagles, he's 4-1 as a starter. 124 completions and 195 attempts for 63.6 completion percentage. 1,579 yards, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a 102.9 passer rating, 5 sacks, average of 8.1 yards per attempt, and he also has a rushing touchdown against us. So that's just the runoff Kirk Cousins stats. Now, as far as everybody else on the Redskins, like, they don't have Pierre Garçon anymore. They don't have Deshaun Jackson anymore. So, but basically, Kirk Cousins still has his 2 best weapons, and that's Jordan Reed and Jamison Crowder. I'll get into that in a minute. Now, as far as offense go, my offensive game plan would be, first and foremost, I said that win at the line of scrimmage. Like, you can't establish a good run game if the offensive line is not in cahoots with each other. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, that's one thing that makes me nervous about this upcoming game, because you're going up against a familiar division foe that's pretty much familiar with your whole game plan and your team. And I feel like the offensive line didn't get enough action as a whole in the preseason to gel enough together. And I was kind of hoping that Doug Peterson would go out on a limb and let those guys play 2 or 3 series against the Jets in the last preseason game. But as far as the offensive line go, my only worry is the newcomer Isaac Seumalo and his chemistry, and how his chemistry has evolved with Jason Peters on the left side of the offensive line. Now, coming from the left side of the offensive line, you have Jonathan Allen and Preston Smith. Preston Smith is a hell of a pass rusher. He's a little inconsistent, but he's a hell of a pass rusher. So if I'm going to trust anybody to go up against Preston Smith, it would be Jason Peters, the established veteran on the team. And as far as Jonathan Allen up against Seumalo, that's going to be a tough matchup, because we Jonathan Allen is a rookie. Sayamalo is a first year starter. So it's kind of like rookie versus rookie. Not like, it's just kind of like rookie versus rookie. So him having to go up against Jonathan Allen, I don't know who's going to win that matchup, but I know the left side of the line scares me because I don't think Sayamalo has had enough in-game live action with Jason Peters next to him. And y'all know how I stress the offensive line to the core. Like, you got to be on the same page with the assignments, with the blocking scheme, with whatever running back you have coming behind you. If the play's called to go to the left side, like, you really have to, like, be really airtight with that guy next to you. And I feel like sometimes Peters has to carry too much of a load because of the inconsistency of the guy that's playing next to him. So hopefully I'm wrong, but my biggest fear going into this game offensively is the O-line. Like, we seen him in the preseason, not getting a push, not opening holes. It was just a whole inconsistent mess. You know what I mean? So hopefully between the last preseason game between the third preseason game up until now, maybe they have it together and what they have in practice will translate to the field, because once the clock starts, the season starts, and that's when it matters the most. But I'm not going to lie to y'all, my biggest fear and my biggest worry going into the season is the offensive line. And as far as our wide receivers go, I don't know if Josh Norman's going to shadow Alshon Jeffrey. Of course, that's number one versus number one. If he does, he does. I'm still looking for a good matchup. But also, having the number one corner on Alshon Jeffrey, I feel like the rest of our receivers, as well as Zach Ertz, need to step up. I don't want a whole bunch of leaning on Darren Sproles because nobody's open like we did last year. I couldn't stand that because we was running that man into the ground. But I feel like with Torrey Smith on the other side, he's another veteran. You know what I mean? They know what they have to do if Washington defense keys on Alshon Jeffrey. As far as Nelson Aguilar starting at a new position, you know what I mean? That's still a question mark to me. I don't know how good Aggie's going to do in the slot. I don't know how bad he's going to do in the slot. But what I do know is if teams are keying on Alshon Jeffrey with a safety over the top, which I think they'll probably lean more to doing that with Torrey Smith because he's the deep threat. Because Alshon's the type of receiver, he'll be all over the place. So it's really no way to contain him as far as like locking him down because he's not one-dimensional, you know what I mean? But the deep threat in Aguilar and the deep threat in Torrey Smith, I feel like that's going to confuse a lot of safeties, and it's pretty much going to be pick your poison if it works out. So if Aguilar is creating the mismatches over the middle in the slot and the safeties is drawn into him, because you already got to put a safety on Zach Ertz because he's too fast for linebackers, and he's too good of a playmaker to just have a linebacker on him, unless you're talking about a guy like Luke Kuechly or guys like that. But I think Aggie and Torrey Smith will have a bunch of confusion on the back end when it involves safeties, and Alshon is going to be all over the place. Now, as far as the cornerback matchups, they have Bashar Braylon. Their best cornerback is Josh Norman. Now, they're going to have Kendall Fuller on Aguilar in the nickel. So, hopefully Aggie can win that matchup because Fuller is in his second year, I believe. Aggie's in his third. So, hopefully Aggie has it together enough to win that matchup. But, like I said, I don't worry about Alshon because Alshon is a multi-dimensional receiver that can get his catches all over the place. But none of this shit matters if the offensive line don't block or they getting Wentz hit in pass protection or they not opening holes for the run game. We basically need the run game to set up the passing game. So, now on to the run game. I don't like the running back by committee thing. It's not no big secret. I feel like, you should have one dominant running back that earned the number one spot with a power backup. You know what I mean? But Sproles is so good that you have to add him into the mix. So I can see why, like, you're using 3 different running backs in the game. But when it comes to using 4 running backs in the game, I don't think that's necessary. Like, because if we established that we had a power running back that could carry a load all year, we wouldn't do running back by committee. So, but I don't like it. I probably never will like it. But if it works, it works. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to knock it because I'm not the coach. I'm just a fan. So, but the run game doesn't work without the offensive line. So, on to the defense. Now, my biggest fear, my biggest worry is Jordan Reed and Jamison Crowder. Now, As far as Ronald Darby and who he's matched up against, I don't know if he's going to be matched up against Pryor. I don't know if he's going to shadow Pryor all game. I don't know if they're going to put Josh Doxson on his side, but Darby is the one cornerback I'm not really concerned with. Jalen Mills in his second year is more so of a matter of like wait and see. Like, I don't know if he's going to be more consistent this year or he's going to be pretty much like he was last year. But I do love the fact that I think our secondary, as far as cornerbacks, I feel like we have more consistency there than we did last year. So as far as our cornerbacks go, like, I feel like if Patrick Robinson can stay healthy, we won't have to put Malcolm Jenkins in the nickel. So I feel like our safety tandem can stay airtight and in cahoots with each other on the back end. So our cornerbacks just have to do their job and nobody has to do anything extra. And it's going to be plays where you get beat. It's going to be deep balls that you get beat on. It's going to be first downs you give up. I'm prepared for everything, but I feel like our cornerback situation has a little bit more consistency and value than last year. So whether you're worried about Jalen Mills, Patrick Robinson is in a new position where he's playing the nickel now and he's not on the outside, so we don't know if he's going to do good. We don't know if he's going to do bad. Like, I really have no idea, but all I know is Robinson's going to have his hands full with Jamison Crowder. And Malcolm Jenkins is going to have his hands full with Jordan Reed. So, on to the pass rush. This is the kicker. Now, my man, Vinny Curry. Everybody knows this. Vinny Curry is my favorite player. I've been pulling for Vinny Curry to finally get a shot at starting. So now, he's getting his shot at starting. And it's a hell of a first start to go up against one of the best left tackles in football, in Trent Williams. Now, that could go either way. It could either be Trent Williams schooling Vinny Curry, or it could go three ways. Or it could be a mutual thing where they both getting the best of each other. Or it could be a situation where Trent not familiar with Vinny Curry coming off the edge, and Vinny Curry can win that matchup. I'm not going to ask for too much in this first start. I'm hoping it's more even kill. Like, Vinny Curry is applying pressure. Trent Williams is getting his. But for the most part, every Eagles fan just want every player to win their matchup. So I do want Vinny Curry to win that matchup. 1 or 2 sacks wouldn't hurt. Coming off the blind side that Kirk Cousins can't see. But this is why left tackles make so much money, because to be one of the best left tackles in the NFL, you got to be a brick wall over there. But I feel like being as though Vinny Curry, he's kind of familiar with Vinny Curry, Trent Williams, because they do play us all the time, and sometimes Vinny Curry is the pass rusher. But as far as a whole game, you got one guy coming at you, it might be a little different. But I'm pulling for my guy to do good this year, because there's a lot of people that's down on him, and I'm just going to ride with him like I did Brandon Graham. You know what I'm saying? So, now, as far as our defensive tackles, last year, all they did was double Fletcher Cox all year. This year, I don't think they have that luxury, because now we have Timmy Jernigan. Timmy Jernigan is just as much a beast pass rusher as he is a run stopper. So, I don't think you get the luxury of doubling Fletcher Cox this year. So, going up against, what are these dudes' names? They got, I wrote their names down. Sean Lauval, Chase Rollier. I don't know if he's going to play or if Spencer Long, the center's going to play. All signs point to Spencer Long playing. So if he does play, they have a better shot at stopping us in the middle, like or matching up with us better in the middle if he plays. But if he doesn't play, this guy Chase Rollier, the 6th round pick that they have, I feel like they had a heavy disadvantage, and we can take advantage of that. So, and Brandon Scherf at right guard going up against Fletcher Cox. So I feel like now it's going to be a little bit more even. Like, I think Jim Schwartz is going to do a little bit more with his defense now that he can kind of trust his secondary. He can throw blitz packages at the Redskins and shake it up a little bit, confuse their offense a little bit, and we can do a lot of damage. But our defensive line, man, like, the potential that they have to be great this year, it's hard to ignore that. Now, the last matchup will be Brandon Graham against Morgan Moses. Now, Graham is so powerful. Like, he's so powerful with the bull rush, with the with the technique and everything. The only problem is, like, sometimes he's too much power and not enough technique. So I feel like if you work in a better technique against Morgan Moses, you can get the Kirk Cousins. I seen a lot of plays last year where he was applying the pressure, but Cousins was just timing him. Like once he got there, either Cousins stepped up in the pocket and threw it, or Cousins just waited till he got there to escape the pocket. You know what I mean? But when quarterbacks can time your pass rush to the point where they know when to flinch, when to move, it becomes a problem, especially when you have the quarterbacks who can get rid of the ball. All they do is pick a target and they just wait and then get rid of the ball. So I feel like to win this game and set the tone as far as defensive front, Brandon Graham and Vinny Curry got to win their matchups on the outside. But I feel like the defensive tackle position is the most important this game. Because if you apply that pressure from the middle, you can lead Kirk Cousins right into your defensive end. You know what I mean? Just like when you apply pressure from the outside, you can lead Kirk Cousins to your defensive tackles in the middle. But I feel like our defensive line is going to be so powerful this year that we will get a lot more sacks and we'll complement the secondary a lot better than we did last year. And I feel like the secondary will complement our pass rush a lot better than they did last year. So as far as the other wide receivers, Josh Dawson and Terrell Pryor can go either way. Like he's still learning the receiver position, but he's also in a 1 year prove it deal. So he might go out there and ball. I feel like he'll be a big problem in the red zone because he has a 5-inch height advantage on Ronald Darby. He has a 4-inch height advantage on Jalen Mills. So red zone is really going to be an issue because I feel like Kirk Cousins feels like he can exploit that matchup in the red zone, whereas Terrell Pryor can just go up and snatch the ball. Kind of like how we use Alshon. But Alshon's a little bit different because he goes up for the ball like with his physicality. But Terrell Pryor, being as though he's tall, like he'll go up for the ball just like on some jump ball type shit. Kind of like how Devontae Parker did Ronald Darby in the third preseason game. So I feel like we really need to be on point in the red zone if Washington does get down there, because I really feel like Kirk Cousins is going to really be eyeing Terrell Pryor on them jump balls. So Ronald Darby has to be on point when he's in the red zone mainly. But we also can't slack off and not focus on Jordan Reed or Jamison Crowder and guys like that. So it's going to be a battle, man. It's going to be a real battle. Like I feel like we match each other evenly. I feel like our defense is a little bit better than theirs. Like, I mean, they do have Josh Norman, and he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. But they don't have Sewell Cravens. He's not going to play, so they playing their backup safety there. I feel like we can exploit that with Zach Ertz. But as I said, like it's up to Torrey Smith and Aguilar to open up the inside, Torrey Smith open up the outside, and then you can just hit Zach Ertz at will. But I don't want to see a bunch of throwing it to Darren Sproles, because if we go into this game and you see Sproles getting ball a lot in the passing game, then that just means your receiver's not getting open, and we're going to deal with the same inconsistency that we did last year. But for the most part, like, we can win this game. I have us winning by 3. I think it's going to be a tough, physical, hard-fought win, but I feel like we're going to come out on top by 3, regardless if it's 27-24. That's the score I picked. You know, and I'm sticking to that. But basically, to sum it all up, offensive game plan. Offensive line, protect Carson Wentz. Win at the line of scrimmage. Win the battle at the line of scrimmage to open up the run game, which leads to us opening up the passing game. If you opening holes and you making all your blocking assignments and you're on point with your timing in the run game, we can make some things happen. And then they have to respect the run. So then we can start airing out the ball and maybe going for Torrey Smith deep, hitting Aguilar deep, hitting Alshon all over the place, opening it up for Zach Ertz. I'm not trying to get all into too much game planning. It's really simplified. You know what I mean? Protect Carson Wentz. Win at the line of scrimmage to open up the run game so we can exploit the passing game. Boom, that's my offensive game plan. My defensive game plan, get at Kirk Cousins if you get hands on him. Win at the line of scrimmage. Beat their offensive line to the point where Cousins is rattled and you can get to him. And as far as secondary go, you got to be on point with your matchups, but really be on point in the red zone, because that's where he's going to try to exploit Terrell Pryor. That matchup, Terrell Pryor, and that height advantage he has. So, above all, man, that's as quick as I can get it down as far as the game plan go, quick as I can get it all out. You know what I'm saying? As usual, I love y'all. I might be rocking this jersey, my Carson Wentz jersey Sunday. But again, man, I love y'all. Keep showing me love. Subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the video. Follow me on Instagram at we_bleed_green. That's the Instagram page. Follow me on Twitter, WeBleedGreen84. You know what I'm saying? And as usual, Eagles gang, we're going to keep doing this. We always going to be here. You know what I'm saying? Other fan bases can say what they want about us, but we always going to be here. We always going to ride for the squad. And I'll see y'all again after the game, maybe. I'll see y'all again after the game with my initial reaction, whether we win, whether we lose. But I'll get at y'all later, man. I love y'all. Peace. Fly, Eagles, fly.